Hiroshima Memorial Project is an art exhibition with community and educational programs related to the 1945 bombing of the town of Hiroshima. The exhibit is scheduled to travel to 4 U.S. cities and Japan. The 35 paper sculptures which comprise the exhibition were inspired by my visit to the Peace Memorial Museum and Park in 1988, and many of them refer to specific videotapes, displays, and artifacts presented at the museum. The pieces that always begin the exhibit are called costumes. They're displayed on mannequins or wire figures. I wanted to have viewers imagine themselves putting on these costumes so that they'd be putting themselves in Hiroshima. I think it's important that Hiroshima be seen as a tragedy for all mankind, not just for those who were there at that time. All 35 sculptures which comprise the exhibition are made of paper. The various treatments are metaphors for the effects of the devastation that occurred in Hiroshima on August 6th when the bombs fell. I didn't want to repel the viewer by depicting the human devastation that occurred in a realistic way. It was important to me to always retain the recognition of paper as the material. My memory of the metal frame, which still remains on the building at the epicenter of the bomb, is combined with the image of the grassy mound covering the mass grave of unidentified bodies. Photographic documentation at the museum shows how profiles of people and plant material were scorched into the surrounding surfaces by the heat of the blast. Keloids were a common injury. There are many artifacts in the Peace Memorial Museum that are evidence of the intensity of the blast, and they show how glass, steel, and other building materials became molten and blended together. The dignity and respect that can be shown when an individual dies was not possible when so many perished. I chose my own legs as the form for the imagery and as the module for many of these sculptures, because I think that the leg of all the body parts is not really immediately recognizable as racial or gender specific. That way I could try to universalize the tragedy. The repetitions of this module suggest that many more people were injured than just the number of people represented by the legs. Despite these ravages, the human spirit endures. I end the exhibit with the angels because I believe we must, in some way, transcend our injuries. The Peace Memorial Museum has a lot of artifacts that remain from the bombing. And when you look at them, you can see the intensity of the blast and the extent of the devastation. What has to be missing is what happened to people. This is the role that I hope the exhibit will fill. The most tragic part of the bombing of Hiroshima is what it did to the people.
This is the reason I made the works look the way they do.